Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we have this cute little rabbit for you to do. It's a little treat holder and they're quite common. You make them out of felt, and this one is going to be felt with some applique, and the one that I have here comes in 4 sizes. So we have, this one is a little 4x4 hoop, this one is a 5x5, this one is a 6x6 which will fit the 6x10. And then the very much larger one, this one here is an 8x10 hoop, or an 8.5, I think, by 8.5 square hoop. All right, so these are little treat holders. And this little 5x5 is the one that we are going to do today. Let's just get some little treats here. And you just put them back in the top right there. Okay, and then you can add a snap to it if you like. See how cute is that? All right, so for the backing you can either use a felt, which is what I have done with these ones, a felt and a snap. Again, the one today is felt, but if you preferred not to have the felt, you could also add a cotton material, which is what I have done to this one. But when you are making it, you do it so that the cotton material is going to be like this on top of the hoop, okay? And then when you're all done, you cut the edges and you flip it to the right side. And that way, you're going to have some nice sealed up edges if that is what you would prefer to do. Okay, so you can do that in this version if you like. You just need to make sure to put it on top of the hoop and not under the hoop. All right, so let's get started with our adorable little bunny treat holder. All right, to get started, some of the things we're going to need today are, we need a piece of vinyl that we use for the window. I like to use a water-soluble stabilizer. This is what I have here. And I like to use that to put on top of the fabric that I'm going to be using for the bunny. So what I have for the bunny is, I have a cotton fabric with a heat and bond backing on it. And for the bunny, I have a minky kind of fabric, and I also have a heat and bond backing on that, and it is a heat and bond lite that I put on it. So it's ironed on, and then you just peel off backing and you get that shiny stuff. And then for the holder itself, I'm going to be using some felt. So you need a piece of felt for the front, and then you need a piece, 2 pieces of felt for the back. And I'm going to be using some cam snaps for this, but you can use whatever it is that you like. All right, so to get started, we need to go and run the placement stitch, and what I have here is a lightweight tearaway stabilizer. All right, let's go do that. So here we have the placement stitch, okay? And so we have the egg portion here, we have the main body, and then you've got these 2 lines, and these 2 lines indicate where the backing will be. So the bottom piece of backing runs to the top line, and the top piece of backing runs to this bottom line. So the next thing that we have to do is we need to add the vinyl piece to the egg area. So we're going to be putting it over top of that, taping it down, taking it back to the machine, and running the tack down stitch to keep it in place. The placement has been done, and the next thing that we have to do is we need to cut out around the placement stitches. So there we have the window, and the next thing that we have to do is we are going to be adding the main piece of fabric on here. And so I'm using a piece of felt, and you just tape it down. Don't spray because you've got a window. And then we're going to take it back to the machine, and it is going to run a partial outline for the egg design. There we have the little design stitching for the egg. And the next part of the process is we're going to be doing a placement stitch for the bunny, so the head and the abdomen part. And after that placement stitch is done, then I am going to be adding the material over top of that. And once I have done that, the next thing that runs are the two inside of the ears and the nose. And for this bunny, I'm going to be doing that with white color, just to give it a try. So those are the next steps that we're going to do. And after that has run the two ears and the nose, I am going to run the outline stitching, and then I will come back when I am ready to cut off the excess material. And there we have our beginnings of our bunny. So the next thing that we have to do is you just have to cut out around it, and where the hand goes and the foot goes, you can cut close, but just make sure that the rest of it you leave a nice neat border. There we have the bunny all cut out around. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to run the placement stitch for the egg. And once that placement stitch is done, I'm going to be putting the material down and then running the tack down for that. Have the little egg portion done. So what we have to do on this one as well is we have to cut around the egg to remove the excess, and you can cut close here but leave it neat there. And that is what we have left with cutting the egg out. All right, so the next step is we're going to be doing the arms, and then we're going to be doing the little feet. And for that you run the placement stitch, and then you put the material over it, and then you run the tack down stitch. And once we have done that for the arms, I will be back to cut it off, and then we'll do the same thing for the little feet. There we have the cute little bunny. All right, So for the next thing, what we're going to do is we're going to be adding some of the details. So we're going to be adding the little details on the bottom of the feet and the eyes and the whiskers. So for that, I like to use the wash away stabilizer just to hold down this fabric. You could have used it for the other if you wanted, but I did not. So I'm going to be using it for this. All right, so I have the wash away stabilizer on there, and I'm going to go back to the machine, and then now I'm going to run the rest of the details, and then we will be back. There we have a little bunny with his details done. All right, so I'm just going to take off this wash away stabilizer. So the next thing that we have to do is the bunny is pretty much done. Oh, and I forgot to show you that I did run the inside detail stitching, and this inside is where we're going to have to cut out the felt for the window. So to add the back, you have two options actually. You could do felt on the back like I'm going to do. However, you could also put something on the front like a cotton, and then you could flip it to the back. So I do that as well. So to do the cotton, you would need to see the lines that were in the back here, and then you would need to line these things up on the front. So for the front ones, you would put the top one first and then the bottom one, and then you would do the final stitching, and then you would flip it through here. Or, as typical treat bags are done, we turn it to the back, and I have added some lines here. So you've got the line here, here, and then there's the line that goes across here. So these are for the backing material. And for the backing, you put the bottom one on first, and the bottom one lines up with the top. Okay, so it goes up there, and then you would tape that into place so it doesn't move. Okay, and then I just flip the top back so that I can see, and then you place the top piece to the bottom line. All right, and then you tape that into place. And then you switch them again, because for this one, you want the top piece on top. Otherwise, when you're putting candy in your bag, it falls out. Tell me how I know that. All right, so this is what we do. And then you're going to take it back to the machine, and then it is going to run the outline triple bean stitch to keep all of this together. Well, you guys, I am so sorry. I did something to my camera and I missed the cutting out part. Pretty sure you can all figure that out anyway, but this is how I like to cut mine out. You leave a little border around it, and because it is felt, now it is a lighter. If you don't know how to use one, don't use it. However, I like to get rid of the little fluffy bits that you can see hanging out around felt, and for that you just use the little blue portion of the lighter. So you just go around and do that, and you can also add a snap to the back, and to do that I just marked with a pen and then installed a little snap. And when you're installing stuff in felt, it's always good to give it a little bit of reinforcement so that it doesn't pull on the felt. So I really hope you like this project. I hope you give it a shot. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. And if you could just give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, so that will help move it up in the algorithms. And I really appreciate you watching. Thank you and have a wonderful day.